All right, so stop me if you've heard this before.
Uh-oh.
The Dallas Cowboys.
Stop! All right, go
are
ahead,
in a big-time game on the road in a featured spot, and Dak Prescott doesn't play all that well. You hear that ever before? Seems like something that's been a familiar tone in conversation that we've had in Dallas and in covering the Cowboys over the past few years since Dak's been in the league.
I mean, it happens.
Yeah.
It's not like it would have been any different if, there was a different quarterback in there. It's not like this is like a quarterback's controversy. Like if there was another guy in, they would have won the game. I mean, both sides of the ball, contributed to that loss.
Yeah, that was a bad loss. And equally as big a win for Green Bay, who needed a win desperately because they had been struggling and have lost 5 in a row, and it's not looked good for the Packers. But in that spot, Mike McCarthy back in the building, and to see the Dallas Cowboys go out and struggle the way that they did and lose that game, that's a bad loss. And I think just with the way the NFC East is stacked up and the way the NFC is stacked up, I mean, you're losing ground, and now you're going from, if you're not going to win the NFC East, now you're going to be a wild card team. Now you're going to have to go on the road. It just feels like these losses we're going to look back on later on and go, all right, that one hurt. That was one they should have had. And Dallas should have won that game. They're a better roster than Green Bay, but Green Bay came into that. They looked much better than they had in previous weeks. Statistically, Green Bay's got the worst offense in the division, and it's not even all that close. But came out yesterday, they found a little something there in the passing game, and then you've got the Dallas Cowboys who just looked flat at times, and Dak Prescott's got a couple of more turnovers. They go for it on 4th down in overtime. That's going to be critiqued and criticized a lot. I didn't have that much of an issue with it. You were at midfield. You realize if you're giving the ball back to Aaron Rodgers, if you punt it away, there's the potential they could go down and win the game anyway. So Mike McCarthy trusted his offense to try and pick up a few yards to continue the drive, as opposed to trying to kick a long field goal, which would have not ended the game right there.
I think any coach would have trusted their offense against Green Bay right now.
Yeah. And it just –
And I would trust my defense against Green Bay right now. I would trust my team against Green Bay right now.
I think them not going for it, or them electing to go for it on 4th down and not kicking the field goal, I think that was kind of an indictment on what he thought the defense looked like in that game yesterday. Because the fact that you made the decision to go for it there as opposed to maybe taking and it wasn't a chip shot, it was outside, it was a 53-yard field goal attempt. But you also, you could punt the ball away and pin Green Bay deep. I don't know that he trusted his defense to be able to get him a stop. And plus, all that talent you got on offense,
that's what
like
I'm saying.
all those,
and you can't figure out a way to win this game.
Yeah, you should be able to pick up that 1st down in that spot. So I don't look at it and say, well, Mike McCarthy, who was maybe a little bit too emotional because he was in Green Bay and he was playing the Packers and he wanted to win that game in the spot. You got Dak Prescott, you got that offense, you should be able to pick up that 1st down.
You know what? He's got a drinking buddy up there in Dallas. Dez Bryant.
Yeah.
Or maybe even Mike Irvin.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe there's the possibility that you let McCarthy go and you replace him with Michael Irvin to come in and be the head coach of this team, and who better to bring fire and bring that trust and buy-in to being a Dallas Cowboy than Michael Irvin. I'm just saying.
I mean, this feels like we've had this conversation on a Monday following a big Dallas Cowboy game over the past 2-3 years a lot. It feels like the same conversation everybody has. Why are they so loaded in certain – like roster-wise, they're one of the best rosters in the NFL. Yet here we are again having another conversation about why are they losing these games? And Green Bay's not a good football team, but you look at Dallas and go, how is this game close? Like, how are you not able to? And I just come away from this thinking, same old Cowboys. Like, they just come up flat in big spots.
Now, let me ask you this, because I said this before the season started. I believe I got laughed off, and I was told that the best team in the NFC was clearly the Dallas Cowboys. Now, everybody is now starting to grasp onto this narrative that y'all said that it was the Eagles, calling the Eagles. No, y'all were saying Dallas. Everyone was saying Dallas. Dallas this, Dallas that. Dallas is clearly the best team in the NFC. Lee, what is it that I said before the season started with Dallas? What did I say? What was my bold prediction?
You did not trust them. You were definitely low on the Cowboys.
And what did I say the final result would be, Lee?
Said they wouldn't make the playoffs.
Thank you.
Correct.
Now, here's my question today, because I am wrong a lot.
I'm not.
But when I'm right, I love to sit on that throne of correctness.
I'm never wrong. But again,
okay.
Listen,
so here we go. Don't be wrong on this,
yeah.
Lee. You could get in on this as well. Do you think Dallas is going to be a wild card team with the way things are shaping out right now?
Yes.
Okay, Lee.
Yeah, I think they're going to make the playoffs.
Damn.
Wild card.
Okay. So they're going to be the third team?
I don't know. I mean,
they're going to be the third team out of the NFC. Like they're out of the NFC East, because the way things are going right now, the Giants are going to be a wild card team, or they're going to win the division. And if they win the division, then the Eagles are going to be a wild card team. So if you go to the other NFC divisions, where are they the wild card team?
So
if Seattle wins the division or the Niners win the division, I would have to assume that the Seahawks or the Niners are in pole position to get that wild card game.
So if Philly wins tonight, which I think a lot of people expect them to win tonight, Philly's got a 3-game lead over Dallas, and they've got the win against Dallas straight up already in the back pocket. So that loss yesterday for Dallas was massive.
Bad.
And so if you're Dallas and you're sitting now a game behind the Giants, but you do have a win over the Giants, it just makes that Thanksgiving matchup that much more important, because they're going to play in a couple of weeks on Thanksgiving, and it's Dallas.
But it
and
may
it's
not
Dayball's.
But it may not come down to. I mean, yes, you're right.
Yeah.
But it may not come down to that the way the Giants are playing. It may not come down to who won the tiebreaker just based off of the way the Giants are playing.
And by the way, you're at Minnesota next week for Dallas, so. We just, we talked last hour about Minnesota proved a lot and showed themselves, in that game a lot. And now if you're the Dallas Cowboys, you lose a game you needed to win yesterday as a favorite on the road against a struggling team that had lost 5 in a row. And now you've got to go play one of the hottest teams in the NFL who's unbeaten at home. Good news is
there's three wild card teams, right?
Yes.
I would be willing to bet the bank on it. If the Green Bay Packers can find a way to improve from what they did yesterday, that they're the third wild card team.
So you think Green Bay still got an opportunity?
Yes.
All right. So according to DraftKings, our buddies at DraftKings,
because now they just beat Dallas.
Yes. So a head-to-head, they've got a head-to-head against, because Green Bay is not winning the division.
No, they're not going to win the division.
That's a wrap.
So they're going to be the second team.
So Minnesota and Philly look like they're running away with the division.
Okay.
Green Bay to make the playoffs is plus 350 according to DraftKings.
I'd take that.
All right, so if you walked in with $100, you would walk away with 350 if Green Bay makes the playoffs.
I'd take that.
So do you think Dallas is going to make the playoffs?
No.
You still don't? Okay. Plus 1,600. So that's 16-1. If you were to lay $100 on the Dallas Cowboys to not make the playoffs according to DraftKings, you'd walk away with $1,600.
Let's make that bet. That's money in the bank.
Lee, can I borrow your credit card?
That's money in the bank.
Just want to make sure and get your credit card information here. Just give me the last 4. I know the rest, and we'll figure it out. And then if you can give me the CRV or whatever they call it on the back, that'll work for me.
That's money in the bank.
That's just – but again, why do we keep having this same discussion with the Dallas Cowboys? You could copy and paste this post-game reaction and insert it in multiple games over the past several years. Just go to the most recent playoff game in Dallas, the one against the 49ers. Weren't we having the same conversation? How did you lose that game? You're at home. Like what happened here? What was the plan? Why on the final play of the game? What were you trying to do? He's
out of there, right?
If they don't make the playoffs, Mike McCarthy's done.
He's gone.
And I like Mike McCarthy. And, seeing him and Rodgers yesterday was awesome. They ended on kind of awkward terms, but it seems like they've, everything has completely changed with those two guys.
Yep.
But it just, man, there's a lot of money invested in a lot of spots. And I just feel like, and I like Dak Prescott a lot. And I defended him getting the contract he got, but man, oh man, we keep having the same discussion about Dak Prescott in these big games, and they come up short. Yes.
Not just Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott is Dallas first, and then whoever the current quarterback is. We've had these same conversations with
Romo.
Yes.
Yep.
Who was before him? Bledsoe? Yes.
Yeah.
Who was before him? Quincy Carter? Who was before?
Yeah, Quincy Carter was in the mix. Drew Henson, I think. Drew Henson was in the mix.
You've had this conversation about every single quarterback that has been a quarterback for this team. Even at the end with Troy Aikman, you had the same conversation.
And by the way, for anybody that wants to point to, well, Zeke Elliott wasn't healthy. Zeke Elliott hasn't been healthy for about 2 years. Tony Pollard's the number one back in that offense, and he had a good game yesterday. So it has nothing to do with that. This is another one of these typical Dallas Cowboy games that you scratch your head and go, what the F's going on,
And
man?
it's going to be a typical Dallas Cowboy season.
Wow. How dare you?
I'm just looking at the way it was shaping up. There's looking at the way it's shaping up and looking at the way everything is set up. If you look at Dallas the rest of the way and what they have to do in order to be able to get to where they're trying to go, are you confident that they can do it? Are you confident that the Dallas Cowboys, with the remaining games that they have, can they do it?
Here's what I'll say about Dallas. It would not surprise me if they won the NFC, and it would not surprise me if they were one and done.
All right, here we go. They got
that's a problem.
Let's go through them. They got the Vikings next. Who you got?
Well, it's a 4:25 Eastern time window, so I'm going to go with Dallas.
Well, it's 1:25.
Yeah,
here.
Well, yeah. But Kirk Cousins outside of the 1 Eastern time. I got to stick with the theme. I created that.
You created it?
Yeah.
So you think Dallas is going to get the Vikings?
And by the way, that's a fact, and people are stealing that all left and right. Kirk Cousins, not in 1 p.m. Eastern time, originated by me on this network.
I don't disagree with you there. All right. I wasn't here for it, but I believe you.
It happened.
Giants. The Giants go to – now, keep in mind, the Cowboys have to travel to Minnesota.
Yes.
I'm not giving them Minnesota.
Well, I'm just looking at the betting odds. Yeah,
okay.
I mean,
now, the Giants go travel to them the following week. Who you got?
I'll take Dallas.
So you gave them 2 wins just now.
Yeah.
Then they have the Colts at home.
I'll take Dallas.
I'm going to take Dallas on that one. So right now I got Dallas at 1 and 2 over the next 3 games. Then they have the Texans at home.
Oh, that's a win. Yeah, Dallas.
So I got them at 2 and 2. Then they have the Jaguars. I got them at 3 and 2, but the Jags could knock them off playing them at home.
And again, it's Doug Peterson who knows that team, who coached against them for years in Philly. That game against Jacksonville, I'm telling you right now, they're either going to lose that game or it's going to be a lot more competitive than a lot of people anticipate. We're talking about the damn Jaguars.
All I'm going to say is within those 5 games, Vikings, Giants, Colts, Texans, Jaguars, there's a strong possibility they could lose more than they win in that stretch.
100%, and that's what's so strange about like have you ever been in a relationship with somebody who's just got erratic behavior? It's really uncomfortable because you're never quite sure what you're going to get. All right, it's just like one day they wake up and it's like a kiss. The next thing you know, there's a revolver in your face. You're never quite sure what you got. Dallas. I don't know what I'm going to get in these games. They're either going to win the game and look fantastic, and it's like, man, that's why you paid Dak Prescott all that money, or they're going to lose, and you go, what was that? It just they're so erratic in these big time games, and yesterday was another example.
And then the latter part of their schedule, they got to go to Tennessee, they got to play Philadelphia. And for what it's worth, a last game against Washington, that could be a hard game for them to win.
Especially if Washington goes, you know what, we're not playing for anything. Screw it. Let's go for broke.
Dallas might not be playing for anything by that time, bro.
Man, that's rough.
I mean, let's just be honest here. They're third place right now in the NFC East.
That game yesterday was
Like they would,
so
don't
massive.
you? I mean, like this is week 9, right? We're in week 9.
Week 10.
Week 10.
Yeah.
We just left week 9, right? Or they just played week 10.
Week 10 is this week, and then we got week 11 next week.
Okay. There's 8 more games left.
Yeah.
And you're third place in the NFC East. Third place.
I know. It's just
Like I mean, am I wrong for thinking that
No.
like, they are not in position to make the playoffs right now?
Here's the best part about the Cowboys conversation. I could say Dallas is coming out of the NFC. You could say they're not making the playoffs.
And we're both right.
Yeah, and there's like
We're both right.
Yeah, we could both be right.
Until we're both wrong. Or until one of us is wrong.
But that's why, like, if I was a Cowboys fan, I don't know what I would do. Like, I'd be just sitting around going, all right, what's next? I mean, what are we going to get this time? They're just so unpredictable in these spots.